Hello, folks. It's Natasha N.K.O, 17th of June, 12:48, and I'm taking a break from my writing, looking out the window and thinking about yesterday. Uh, well, what were we? It's not quite a support group, but it's called a spiritual. It's a spiritual group. We discuss our voices and visions in relation to our spirituality. We do support each other, but that's not really the main point of it. So we, what were we talking about? We were talking about of our frailties and what we think of as the things that make us weaker, and then sort of recognizing how those are the same things that make us stronger as well in other ways. And what do I do? I go online. I go to church online on Sundays, and their sermon they've talked about. Oh, what's aeroplane? Yeah, so their Sunday sermon they talked about Matthew 9:37 to 38, where it says the harvest is plentiful but the workers are few, and the sermon was basically talking about how those people who are called or drawn to do any kind of altruistic work are are explicitly chosen because they're imperfect and they're ordinary and they're flawed. And those are the ones that are wanted for that work, not people who are perfect. And that was really striking, I think, a message because you do expect people to be, I don't know, living their best life or looking their best, like living their best life if they're going to be a life coach, or looking their physical best if they're going to be like your fitness trainer, and their hair better be looking good if they're going to be your hairdresser. But yeah, they could just be having a bad day or a bad time themselves. They still have the heart and the knowledge to be able to give to somebody whatever it is that they're needing at that time in that place. So that's what I took from it. And then when we met yesterday in our spiritual group, so people shared how they feel that they've got a really grand role on earth to play. Like we're talking about people who see themselves as star seeds and indigo children and things like that, where they feel like they are an integral cog in the elevation of humankind into like a new era, a new dimension. And there's some people who just think that they're healers, and that there's I've spoken to someone who thinks that I have voices that I hear and other people have voices that they hear, and what I've been told explicitly is everybody has voices, everybody has spirits, angels, ancestors, whatever you might want to call them. The question is whether or not you can hear them, but you certainly can perceive them in many ways, right? Like when you get good or bad feelings, intuitions, right? So there's this guy who he thinks that his voices can talk to my voices and have a conversation on their own apart from he and I. And I don't disbelieve him. I just think that there's a thing that some people who hear voices have, and it's like a preoccupation with like what the intention of the voices are, or where they're from, or who they are. But I just think that there's literally no way that I could ever verify anything they'd say to me. I can only go on my sense of what is true and what is real, and my own intuition and my feeling, whether or not what I'm hearing is the truth or reality. But I know I can say categorically they've told me many falsehoods, many times. I think I found I've noticed a strategy that they have is like with every true thing they tell me about three false things, because there's something about not being able to give me information that is not my place to know. And I literally don't ask anyway. I'm not trying to be a psychic medium or anything like that. I always think if there's people dead, people have died. And if they want to connect with their loved ones, then they shouldn't need an intermediary to do that. But I think that's my opinion anyway. But I know that lots of people benefit from it. It's just definitely not something I'm ever interested in doing. Anyway, listen to me. Mark my words. I've said that now. 12:54, 17th of June. Who knows what they might? Because if they often have things that they want me to say, but they never have things that they want me to say to anyone in particular. So anyway, back to this guy. So he basically has, he's now in his mind in his voices are now in direct contact with one of my voices, who I gave a name to so that he can frame it in his mind better. But I don't name them generally because, well, they are in a cycle of let's say of presence. I call it, I refer to it as a wheel of fortune. And for them to be this close to me as somebody who is acutely aware of them is like a real, is a really, is something that they highly prize. So they really value being able to have some, be in close contact with someone that can communicate with them directly. And for that reason, there's like a cycle of beings that get to be close to me so that it's more fair in terms of, let's say, my ancestral grouping, so that so that everybody gets a fair shot of being close to me and having experienced life through my eyes and through my hands and through my senses. If anybody's seen the film Being John Malkovich, that is a really good way of illustrating how I am aware of their experience with me. Because in the movie, yeah, spoiler alert, in the movie Being John Malkovich, there's a man who is a puppet, is a puppeteer. So, and that's an important part of the movie, is that he makes puppets and he's an expert at well, I don't know what you call it when you move a puppet, but he's an expert puppeteer. And so at some point he goes to a very unusual building looking for work. And in this unusual building, in this unusual floor, in this unusual department, with a very unusual manager, he finds an unusual room with an unusual, what is it, a hole in the wall. Yeah, well, with a hole in the wall. A hole in the wall is in itself unusual. Aeroplane. I don't know where I've moved to. I think I've been metaphysically relocated because I've been where I am now for 3 years, and this aeroplane parade has only been going on since this spring. Since it got light out this year is when that started. So those of you who know where I live, I don't know if they've changed the flight path or something. Um, Yeah, so in the movie, being John Malkovich, he finds this hole in the wall, and apparently he's the first to discover it. And it's like a tunnel in the wall. So he gets on his knees and he crawls into this tunnel in the wall, and it's like a slide, this dark slide. He slides down into this tunnel, and where he ends up at the end of the tunnel. No, no, whilst he's in the tunnel, yes, yeah. Because by the time he gets to the end of the tunnel, the experience is complete. So it's whilst he's going through the tunnel, like it's almost like a water slide kind of effect, like not like a mud slide, like in the Goonies. Now, like in Romance in the Stone, yeah, the mud slide when she goes down the mountain, in Cartagena, the mud mountain. Anyway, so whilst he's going down the mountain, what he is experiencing is life through the eyes of this other dude whose name is John Malkovich. So there's this person called John Malkovich just going about his day and going about his life, minding his own business, and completely without his awareness, at some point, this other dude in the tunnel becomes an entity within John Malkovich's mind space. So it's like if you've ever seen that film with Eddie Murphy, something like Stan, Hi Stan, or My Name is Stan. It's like an alien. There's like some aliens coming on a ship, but the ship is actually made out of the body of Eddie Murphy. So what was it called when you sail a ship? The sailors of the ship, the pilots. I don't know. So what they are doing is they are navigating Eddie Murphy's body as though it's a ship on Earth. And their view is almost like in Star Trek, where they've got the console and the controls and everything like that. So in oh my goodness. Yeah, so but in being John Malkovich, we don't see the controls. We just see it as though we are looking from behind the eyes of John Malkovich. So this other dude is inside the mind of John Malkovich and he's experiencing life exactly as he is. But John Malkovich is completely unaware of this. And so much like the sentience that I'm with, there are various types. There are some that are almost physical, as in they are physically in a space, in the physical space with me, but I just can't see them with my eyes, but I can sense where they are. And there are those who are on my physical person, on my physical body. And then there are those that occupy my mind space. And there are those who experience life through my eyes as though they were me. So whatever I'm experiencing, they've experienced it as well. Rather than the ones who are just in my mind, who can do things like what I call a rote, ROTE, where they can play things back in my mind. It's like something that I thought about earlier. They do things like that. So they're more like in the control room of my mind. What did I say all this to say? Yeah, so I think my point was that, yeah, to distinguish myself from a medium or a psychic, there isn't any of that going on, although they are very opinionated. They're more interested in what life is like, what life looks and feels like, what people are like, the things people are interested in, the ways of the world. They're still very sensitive to politics and news because there is a correspondence to where they are. Like as above, so below is the saying. So whatever is going on here, they have a corresponding event that's happening there. So it's triggering for them, which causes me discomfort in various ways. And so I, I tend to not watch the news, but I check in with GB News every so often because it's local, and I feel like I want to know how close the fire burning is to where I am. It feels pretty close. And the Bible quote is, "The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few." And so what it's saying is that although Jesus is asking for people to be workers in the mission, he is commissioning ordinary people, people who are flawed in some way. And so in our group, some of us recognize that, I suppose. Some people feel like they've got a really grandiose role on Earth. And that's interesting because it links in with the science of psychosis, and that often people think that they are the Messiah or that they are something like that. And I think both things can be true. I think it can be a common feature in psychosis, a common experience for people. And that could be because it's true. That could be because it's a reality. But I can't speak for anybody but myself. And I don't believe I am. I'm not being told I am anything like that. Uh, but we are all enjoying speaking to you, speaking to everyone instead of just a few people who take that privilege and twist my words and add falsehood to them. So now when I'm speaking to everyone, so nobody can mix my words. Nobody can think that they're authorized for some ungodly reason to speak for me, to speak on my behalf. Imagine a whole me, a grown woman, having people out here in the world pretending to be friends of mine, claiming to be a mother even though you abandoned me at 15, speaking for me still in my 40s, people thinking that the word coming out of their mouth is valuable, more so than bothering to get in touch with me. So we will have no more of that. We'll have no more of that. I'll thank you for listening. I feel like singing, and it's a black gospel song, so I'm only ever good at singing hymns. So I don't expect this to sound good, but I'm hoping that you'll want to go and listen to the original one, the proper one, that of course you'll find on the YouTube, the Demon Portal. Oh wait, I'm no good with intro. Goes a little something like this. Do 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 do. All right. Blessing and honor, glory and power be unto the Ancient of Days. From every nation, all of creation, bow before the Ancient of Days. Every tongue in heaven and earth shall declare your glory. Every knee shall bow at your throne. In worship you will be exalted, O God, and your kingdom shall not pass away, O Ancient of Days. O blessing and honor, glory and power be unto the Ancient of Days. From every nation, all of creation, bow before the Ancient of Days. Every tongue in heaven and earth shall declare your glory. Every knee shall bow at your throne. In worship you will be exalted, O God, and your kingdom shall not pass away, O Ancient of Days. O blessing and honor, glory and power be unto the Ancient of Days. From every nation, all of creation, bow before the Ancient of Days. Every tongue in heaven and earth shall declare your glory. Every knee shall bow at your throne. In worship you will be exalted, O God, and your kingdom shall not pass away, O Ancient of Days. Your kingdom shall reign over all the earth. Sing unto the Ancient of Days. Now none can compare to your matchless worth. Sing unto the Ancient of Days. Every tongue in heaven and earth shall declare your glory. Every knee shall bow at your throne. In worship you will be exalted, O God, and your kingdom shall not pass away, O Ancient of Days. O Ancient of Days. It goes on. Thanks for listening, though.